world's population is increasingly moving to the city. An estimated 1 billion people now live as urban squatters whose homes are flimsy shacks. In Brazil, the squatter towns are called favelas. Peruvians call them young pueblos. In Argentina, they're known as misery villages. In Mexico, the term for squatter is parachuter, people who drop in and stay on the land they find. In our look at the changing face of Mexico City, Al Jazeera's Frank Contreras reports on the squatters' battle to live.
A row of makeshift homes at one illegal housing settlement on the outskirts of Mexico City. This is Iztapalapa. Under the plastic sheeting that doubles as this home's roof, one of the community's leaders shows us his kitchen, complete with this homemade hot plate.
We just don't have the money to buy a house or to pay for rent. All of this is illegal, we know that, but we're negotiating with the city government.
Enrique is one of hundreds of thousands of people driven by poverty and high unemployment who've been building temporary homes on public lands here. Their 800 communities sit in stark contrast to many of the city's more established and wealthier neighborhoods. They seldom have running water, or any water, and they often steal electricity from the city's power grid. Analysts say the presence of the squatters, known as paracaidistas or parachuters, is inevitable.
For me, it is a tragic consequence of the inequalities of a society that is very rich in its resources and yet at the same time has not been capable of solving the basic human needs of its inhabitants.
The people of this squatter community actually live here on the streets. The front yard of their shacks occupies one of the lanes of this major thoroughfare, and the children who live here spend the day playing in harm's way.
Mexican law technically allows people to take legal possession of a property after occupying it peacefully for 5 years. As a result, the urban landscape is increasingly turning gray, with cement block homes like these replacing the less desirable shacks. Enrique shows us the plot of land behind his home that he's charged with protecting, ensuring no one else moves in before his community does.
When we hear them coming, we'll all go out there and take anything we can get our hands on to defend that plot of land.
Government officials say fixing the city's complex illegal housing problem is a top priority.
It's not simply a matter of removing them from there and leaving them to their own means to resolve their needs. There is a package of alternatives they have to relocate themselves.
The city's leftist government has in recent years begun building more affordable housing like this, but critics say the supply falls far short of the demand. So for now, Enrique waits and hopes for a future when his home will be an official and permanent part of this sprawling megacity. Frank Contreras, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.
The transition from landless person to landowner can take years, particularly when bureaucracy and politics get involved. Cruz Salinas has lived on his land on the edge of Mexico City for more than a decade, though his presence on that land and his right to live there was just recently recognized by the government. Here's his story in his own words.
I was one of the first peoples that came here to live. There was no building here. It's like a desert. So I decided to come here because I need a house for my family. It's my dream. I try to live here in this house for the rest of my life. I have 3 kids, and my dream is give them 1 floor by kid. This is a humble community because we don't have the service like other parts of the city has. For example, in the water, the tap water is very dirty. I have to use my tools to open, to put the tubes for the water. And the government only says, I will give you a machines to do that, but the machines never comes. I often wake up at 6 o'clock a.m. I have to cross all the city. Maybe it takes like 1 hour and a half until 2 hours to get the office. I think that I need to make more, but I'm proud, and I feel that my sons are proud of me. Now I have papers for my house. I feel very, very happy with that papers because I couldn't sleep. Day by day, I think the government will be take over my house. And when I receive my papers since 1 year ago, I feel better. I feel very happy.